Hello there, you absolute legends. Emma McElhinney here with Piss Off Perimenopause and the musings of a bullshit queenager. I am here to ruin your misconceptions about perimenopause, fat loss, and kick midlife in the face. So if you think your 40s are a drag, think again. Because every week I am going to be stripping down the myths about perimenopause. I'm serving you raw, unfiltered truths about your health and smashing misconceptions about fat loss. And a whole lot more. So if you thought you knew midlife, you don't know the half of it. Aging is inevitable, but getting old is a choice. So buckle up, grab a glass of something yummy, and let's get to it. Hello, welcome back to Piss Off Perimenopause. How are you? I don't know what episode this is. I should probably be more prepared and be able to at least know what my podcast is doing. Anyway, this is a little bit of an off-the-cuff one, and it's all about the book, Piss Off Perimenopause, the book. Right. If you have been hiding under a rock or simply don't follow me on any kind of social media, then, oops, I'm dropping things left, right, and centre. I have written, published, and released a bloody book. But, and if you didn't know that, then there you go. Go and buy it on Amazon. It's £8.99 English pounds, British pounds. And it is basically, it's not Wuthering Heights. Do not expect a novel. It is not a storytelling book. It is a factual book. And it is my slant on perimenopause, because you know by now that I am quite different in my approach of health coaching than many other health coaches. In fact, this is another podcast episode that's brewing right now, that one of the bugbears that I have is this notion of it's not your fault. Like, I see this a lot. It's not your fault. Perimenopause is not your fault. Your weight changing is not your fault. The fact that you're not sleeping isn't your fault. Your lack of energy isn't your fault. So yeah, it isn't your fault. Like, it is nobody's fault that these things happen in perimenopause. But where is the responsibility? Why are we not empowering people to take responsibility for these things instead of just saying it's okay, it's not your fault, here's a cuddle? That doesn't help anybody change. And I do not understand some corners of the internet that are not empowering people to make changes, because everybody can make changes. There is no single supplement that's going to change somebody's life, and HRT is unlikely to change somebody's life because these things are sent to support lifestyle. Lifestyle is the number one thing that we can all be doing differently to support our ongoing health, not just perimenopause health, all of our health. And I've gone into the second podcast that hasn't even been drawn out, bullet pointed yet. So it does really upset me that we are not helping people be better. And that's how I want to be seen. That's how I want to be known. I don't want to be somebody that is seen as being gentle and, well, I am quite gentle actually, but not empowering, just allowing people to stay stuck in places, bodies that they're not happy with. So yeah, that's where we are. Anyway, that's the book. I've had so many beautiful comments from people who I've known for a long time, people that I've not known for a long time, people that I've never met who have read the book and left comments, and they've maybe heard me in the podcast, or they've maybe seen me on social media, and they're like, all I could hear is your voice when I was reading this, which is exactly how I set out for that book to be. I did not want this book to just be words. I wanted this to be me coming through in this book, and it appears that I have done that. But it's brought up so much stuff. Like, I have had to work really hard over the years to really think about me, think about things, think about emotions, talk about emotions, think about identity, and loads of stuff that I have always taught my clients to do. And I am not a woo-woo person. I never have been a woo-woo or ever will be a woo-woo person. And a lot of the stuff that I do, with my clients, a lot of them have a bit of a blocker to some of the stuff. And I know why, because I had a blocker to some of the stuff that I teach my clients to do. Just not like, I don't get them to go and lie naked in the grass, rolling about with their crystals and howling at the moon or anything like that. Although if they want to do that, good on you. But simple things. I ask my clients to do gratitude every single day. Every single week I ask them to check in, and the first thing I always ask them to share is their wins. I ask them to do emotion-based goal setting. I ask them to do future planning. I ask them to go deeper than the number in the scales and the dress size number, because if it was as simple as that, realistically everybody would be where they want to be, and they're not. I know that. So anyway, this book has brought up so many emotions, and turns out I like to think that I'm quite a self-aware person, and for the most part I am, but I've had to work really hard accepting compliments, which I don't know if that's a Scottish thing, middle-aged women. I don't like the word middle-aged. Juicy middle-aged. Nope, don't like that either. Cougar puberty-ridden, whatever. 47-year-old woman. And dealing with praise, dealing with compliments, but also self-promotion. And we are a very sticky age where, we were taught that we can have it all, and we all went out there and wanted it all. We wanted the high-powered careers and the money and the responsibility and the decision-making, and also the mothering, and it should never have been have one or the other. But really, no, I don't think anybody anticipated how hard that stuff can be. But anyway, we also had to do all that whilst being very humble and being very grateful for life, and just being allowed to do these things, and not self-promoting yourself in any way whatsoever. And these things have brought up a whole raft of things for me. And I'm not going to, this is not a therapy session, although it might end up being a therapy session. But getting to grips with, a lot of people in the wider business world have been saying to me, right, Emma, you need to email that person, promote your book, you need to do this, you need to write to the papers, you need to write to the council, you need to write to the education board, you need to be on top of this and promote yourself ruthlessly. And I'm like, I don't feel comfortable doing that. I have just noticed, please don't be watching this on YouTube, because I have just noticed I made this is a side tangent. I make my own bread-based products because I am an utter wanker. But a couple of weeks ago, I made homemade bagels, which I'm struggling to see the trade-off in time. They are definitely, they didn't taste as nice as normal shop-bought bagels. All the other bread-based things that taste 100 times better than shop-bought bread-based things. These were not, and they were quite a ball ache to make. But I had them in the freezer, and I had one for lunch that had seeds on it. I have bought a big, massive tub of everything bagel seasoning from Costco. But it's got these poppy seeds, and they're all stuck in my teeth. So don't be watching this on YouTube, and do not go over to YouTube to clock me trying to pull them out on the middle of this podcast. Not professional. Anyway, so emotions. I haven't done journaling in the true sense of journaling. I don't like true journaling. I don't like sitting down and writing feelings. I find it very self-indulgent, I think is the word. But what I do is I sit and write bullet points and just write, how do I feel? So it's the same thing. It's just slightly less time. And one of the things that came up for me was, I actually feel really proud. And it's taken out, that's been a couple of weeks. That book was released middle of February. It's now the beginning of March. So 3 weeks ago, that book was released, nearly 4. And everyone's like, how do you feel? I'm like, yeah, good that it's out there. I hated writing it. I hated the publishing process. Fine. But actually, I am bloody well proud that I have sat down, written a book, published a book, launched a book, and become a bestseller of a book, right? And becoming a bestseller of a book apparently is quite hard, but mine is quite niche. Like it's not like the top seller on all of Amazon. It's in certain sections, but being proud of that is something that I wanted to talk about. And the other thing, this kind of leads into some of the stuff that some conversations I've had with clients over the past this year. And when clients say to me, I feel really embarrassed saying, but I'm really proud of myself, like that. You should never feel embarrassed saying that you're proud of yourself. We should take pride in who we are and how we do things. And one of I try never to congratulate clients for their weight loss, because they can't control their weight loss. But I congratulate my clients for the effort that they have put in and the changes that they have been open to making. And don't get me wrong, some of the changes I ask my clients to do, for some people it's hard. Like, some of the changes are easy. Some changes, some people have resistance to them, mainly around the identity and the mindset work. And I don't mean resistance as this is too hard to do and too time consuming, but very often it throws up a lot of limiting beliefs. Because I don't work with idiots. I work with smart women. They're all in some kind of leadership position, whether they're managers, entrepreneurs. They're all, and I actually did a bit of research over the weekend, and I was like, what are actually your official job titles? Because I know roughly what they do. I never ask for their job titles on their onboarding forms or anything. So what are all your job titles? But they're not idiots, but so we all have beliefs. And some things that come up for clients is I genuinely, hand on heart, believed I knew exactly what to do or what to eat or how to move my body, or I knew exactly all of these things. And within 2-3 weeks, they're going, oh shit, is that why that's not worked? Or is that why that I've been doing this? Is that why? And these are the types of women that like to understand the why they do things. They're interested in the psychology. They're interested in behavior change, whether they want it or not, but they're interested in how many times have you said to yourself, why do I keep doing that? Why does that keep happening to me? And that comes up quite a lot. And they're the things that generate the proper change. Anybody can change their eating for a short amount of time. Every single person listening to this has probably been on a diet at some point, and it knows that they can change their eating for a short amount of time. But who, hand on heart, can say that they have changed the habits of a lifetime in as little as 3 months? Not many people. My clients can. That sounded very smug. Apologies if this has some kind of cut off. I had to go and let my child in after school, and I don't know what button to press on this, so I've just stopped the recording and restarted it. So I hope it's still the same. Anyway, where were we going with that? Limiting beliefs, emotions. So yeah, the book came with a lot of emotions, and even writing the book came up with a lot of emotions about, can I even be bothered doing this? Resilience. Who's going to want to read it? All those limiting beliefs. Who even am I to be writing a book? People like me don't write a book. And that's a lot of the, it was that kind of demonstrated to me that the mindset work is never done. The self-esteem work is never done. The self-confidence work is never done. And now that I am further along in my Germany, now what's this, 2026? So I kind of started on my health journey 2014. That was, I don't, for those of you who have not heard about my badly stuffed sausage story, it was 2014. And I had gone, my son was 3-ish. And when I'd gone back to work, I was a size 14. When I'd left work, before I got pregnant, I was a size 8, and I never had to worry about my physique, never cared about it. I was really unhealthy. But thinking about my body was nothing, didn't really, it was just there, it was a thing. And 2014, after having Archie, I'd lost me. I wasn't confident anymore. I wasn't challenging my stakeholders. I wasn't managing my team very well. I was not, I just had lost my spark and my energy, and was meek and hiding away, and I hated feeling invisible, but equally I liked feeling invisible because I didn't want people to see me because I was heavier. And I draw on that experience even now, thinking about identity. And that's probably the biggest part of what I teach clients about identity, is that, and nobody really talks about it, is your dress size, your weight in the scales, whatever, has nothing to do with you wanting to change. It's the person that you want to be. And that's why every single one of my clients have, how do I word this? So they've not always struggled with their weight. It's very often it's not actually ever been a real thing for them until they have hit their 40s, because they don't like being the version that they are now. They want to feel like the person that they felt like before. And that's what I do with identity coaching. And it's not a case of, oh, just go back to that person. Like, it's not as simple as that. Oh God, I've lost my train of thought. Identity. Yeah. So I've always typically been quite good. So this threw up a lot of things. In 2014, the thing that triggered me was the Mackay's blouse. And I am not a Mackay's kind of a gal. If you're in the UK, remember Mackay's. And I only had like 2 pairs of trousers that fitted, and I was getting dressed, and it was in the dark, and I had a long commute, and I was put on this Mackay's blouse, and I just burst out crying. I looked hideous. I looked like I was a badly stuffed sausage, is the analogy that I use. And it was at that moment I knew I had to change. I was like, I don't like the person that I'm becoming, because I had done the diets, I had done your high street diets, and lost weight. So I knew I wasn't broken because I lost weight. I just couldn't keep it off. I just kept going back to old habits. And it was at that point I was like, I need to do something very, very different. And that's when I started getting a real interest in nutrition and training and doing all the things. And it's that ultimately that then got me down the path of doing my qualifications and leaving employment and becoming who I am now. So you can thank the Mackay's blouse for making me look ugly as sin on that cold and gloomy, I can't remember if it's cold and gloomy Scottish morning. But back then, if somebody had said to me, in 12 years' time, you'll have written a book, you will be helping other people rediscover who they are, you will be training people to do what you do, you will be going into workplaces and standing on stage, and you'll have a podcast, and all of that, get in the bin, that's not going to be me. And here we are, and that's where we are. And that was never the plan. The plan for me, when I first went self-employed, my big vision was, I just want women to live happily and healthily in their own skin. And right now, in today's world, it really makes me sad that how many women refuse to want that for themselves. And it's really, really sad. If you're on my Instagram, I'm not as egotistical. I think that you would have seen that my account has grown over the past year. Like, my account has grown over the last year. So I know perimenopause is important, and I know like people are really interested in, but the amount of people that have got the absolute fear about doing anything to fix themselves is absolutely mind-blowing. The other day I had 3 people, there was maybe about 10 conversations I was having in my messages, my DMs, and 3 people said a variation of the same thing. I'm fed up on my own bullshit. Well, what do you mean by that? And they had felt shit for years. And it just really upsets me. And I'm not clever enough with my marketing or being able to articulate that it doesn't need to be as hard as we all make out that it's hard. Like I've got a 90-day program that takes 90 days, and it has transformed the lives of hundreds of women over the years, hundreds. And it's not hard, and it doesn't have to be boring, and it doesn't have to be like eating leaves and dust and exercising 5 times a week. And it gets to be fun, and you get to have a laugh with it, and you get to take the piss out of yourself. And anyway, that's not what we're talking about today. Anyway, so emotions and humility. We're not allowed to brag about our own successes, but in the business world, we have to brag about our successes, because how else do we stand out? How else do people discover us? You know, it's so complex. And like International Women's Day has been this week, and that has thrown up a whole lot. I've not even spoken about it this year because I'm just not on board with this giving notion. Like, I think personally, I have given a lot. Time, energy, money to general living. That's not how I want to be remembered, really. Like, I want to be remembered for impact, like how changed lives, saved marriages. People have had 30 grand a year, like promoted jobs because the work that they've done with me. And it's not me, I'm not the one that's done the work. I just provide the tools, the toolkit, and the torch of that's the path, do these things, and this will happen. It's not me that does the work. I've done the work already. I did the work back in 2014 and 2015 and 2016, and I'm still doing the work because the work never stops. But anyway, so the the book happened, bestseller happened, and then a book launch. Now, the book launch actually made me cry. And some people listen to this were at the book launch. And that again was oh God, I feel icky saying this, but I am so fucking proud. So proud because there was people there who were clients of mine in 2018 when I first started with a shitty garage with shitty equipment, and I had left my job and I was like, I'm just going to do some PT in out my garage. Got my PT qualifications now, I'm just going to do that. And I did that. And 2 of my very first cohort of clients were there. And just, I loved it. I just love people that have supported me from the very beginning. It's just incredible to have that support, to look around the room and go, thank you, people. Like, obviously, my mum and dad were there, and my son was there, my ex-husband was there. Real life friends, very common, real life friends, so friends who I've known who had, before the health stuff kicked in, before the sausage story, before I even had don't have kids, I've got one kid. Real life people, new friends that are like mum friends and past and present clients, and it was just so beautiful hearing things like, you've changed my life, and this wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for the work that we'd done together, and just, oh my God. But that's what I'm talking about. Like, this is like humble bragging. Being proud of the things that you've done shouldn't be an add-on. It should be part and parcel of who we are. So if I've got any action for you while you're listening to this, is today and every day, I want you to say out loud, either to yourself or to somebody else, what you are proud of yourself for today. It doesn't need to be anything. I'm so proud that I made it to work in time. I'm so proud that I managed to juggle a really stressful day with getting fish fingers out the oven. It can just be as small as that, but actually recognizing our own achievements, no matter how small they are, is such an important part of self-esteem and self-confidence. Because like I've done numerous trainings on this, and there's probably a podcast episode on this as well. Like, self-confidence is jack shit to do with your body. Self-confidence is the internal element, and sometimes the body can impact that. But, you can increase your self-confidence by wearing matching brand pants, by actually investing in some of the things that make you feel good, like doing your hair and makeup every day can increase your self-confidence. Wearing clothes that suit yourself. Like, I spent £70 a couple of years ago on getting my colours done and shape analysis done, and it has absolutely changed the game. And if you're watching this on YouTube, it might not look like it because I'm wearing a scabby old fleece that actually has dust on it. I'm wiping it off as we speak, so you'd never think that I've got my colours and shape done. But I've those things, and starting to really tune into me and understand how I tick and understand what I want and understanding my goals and the emotions that feed into those goals and the daily actions that I do. They're the things that have increased my self-confidence. Nothing to do with the fact of what we am on the scales. And that's something that I urge everybody to do, is to think about, the characteristics that we have, that's what builds self-confidence and self-love, not the number, not the fact that you're 10 stone 5 or 10 stone 7. It's just data. That is just a number. So anyway, I think I'm rambling, and I don't know how long I've got because it's in now 2 parts. But I think, like, just to show, like, this is not all roses and diamonds. There is no roses or diamonds. I did get flowers, but I don't think I got roses. I got tulips and a lovely bunch that's got other things in them. But see, right now in this health coaching space, it's wild. It's absolutely wild. I am seeing so many women emaciated because of weight loss injections. I am speaking to people who are coming into their 50s and have been diagnosed with osteoporosis because they've got weak bones. I'm seeing more and more people vaping. I'm seeing more and more people relying on processed foods. And it's really hard to watch. Really hard to watch just now. And there are obviously a group of people out there who are not doing these things, and those people tend to be clients. My clients, some of them are on GLP-1 medications, some of them have considered it, and I will hand on heart say most people that are on GLP-1s do not need to be on GLP-1s. They shouldn't be on GLP-1s. If you just want to drop a couple of dress sizes, you don't need to go on GLP-1 to do that. But you do need to change your lifestyle. So your nutrition, your movement, your stress reactions, your sleep, your boundaries, and your mindset. And that's what gets results ultimately. This was not actually meant to be a GLP-1. Anyway, worries and fears. Worries and fears. I'm worried. Somebody said, you're going to write a sequel like that. I need to think of a witty post-menopause sequel. So if anybody's got any ideas of what that can be, send them through, and it'll take me another 5 years to brew on that topic. I hope that I'm not post-menopausal in the next 5 years. I hope at least I've got 5 years left to become post-menopausal. Worries and fears. No. I just want everybody to live happily and healthy in their own skin. And I think that's a nice goal, a nice vision that I will never be able to make true by myself, but by coaching other people to do that. So that's, I don't know, for those of you that don't know, I actually train other people to become menopause health and lifestyle coaches. I'm accredited with CPD and Active IQ, which are two of the main accreditation bodies here in the UK. So that's a ripple effect, isn't it? If I can help other people become educated, trained, and confident in coaching other people, then that's a ripple effect. If they can go out and coach 10 people in a month, perfect. That's 120 people a year that I have directly impacted. And that's ultimately how I want it to all stack up. That's amazing. So huge thank you. Thank you to everybody that bought the book. Even more thank you to people that have read the book. So if you bought it and not read it, read the book. And everybody that came to the book launch. It's just been an incredibly weird, batshit journey. And it'll probably continue to be a weird batshit journey, because that's kind of life that I want to lead, is a bit of a weird and batshit life. So anyway, there we go. Right, thank you for this episode. I've got a few ideas for some more coming up. So just keep an eye on. It's not as frequent as once a week. It's kind of once a fortnight, once every month at the moment. But if you've got anything that you want me to cover in a podcast, just DM me on Instagram at Emma Perimeno Health, or drop me an email, emma@teamemw, and I will do it for you. That is my promise to you today. Anyway, right. Peace out. Have an amazing rest of your day and week, and I will speak to you soon. And just like that, we have spiced up another episode of Piss Off Perimenopause and the musings of a bullshit queenager. Massive shout out and a huge thank you for hanging out with me today. I really hope you've been entertained. And remember, don't be shy, hit that subscribe button. And until next time, keep those heels high and standards higher. Remember, it's all about glowing, growing, and downright owning it. So catch you on the flip side, and don't forget to click the link in the show notes to get your freebie.